Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Anchorage Ice Tigers Draft to Glory franchise mode here in NHL 23. So, I am recording this episode a couple hours after you guys would have seen the last episode, so I apologize if there was any comments coming in after the fact. But anyways, in last episode, if you didn't catch it, we unfortunately lost in the Stanley Cup Finals to the Florida Panthers, but it was a really good learning experience from a lot of the guys, and I am very impressed with how good this team did this year. And hopefully, we have another good year ahead of us in the next season. A lot of guys took a big leap forward, like Derek Keith, for example, winning his first ever Selke Trophy. He also had 29 points in the playoffs. Avery Parrott was so clutch in the playoffs, and he had 27 points. And then he had a little bit of a drop off, but Jorgensen, Bickle were good, Zikov were good. Festerini was good. Claxon was kind of quiet at times, but he was still not bad. And yeah, a lot of other guys just contributed to this team, and it was really good to see this team find a way all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals already at this stage. It does suck in a way because we do have a late first round pick, but luckily enough for us, we are probably going to be able to get ourselves a very good steal in the draft, and hopefully that helps us going forward. And yeah, goaltending hopefully can continue to improve in the playoffs. Cox was fantastic. I don't know how good he's going to be next season necessarily because some goalies are a little bit streaky in the playoffs. And yeah, hopefully Harry Neal could kind of pick up the play a little bit. He is kind of consistent in terms of like save percentage, it looks like. So he is still a really good goaltender. And did I lock him up? I don't remember, for a couple years. So we'll see if he's able to be a good, like, maybe he'll be the backup next season. It depends if Cox gets a lot of growth or not. But yeah, very excited for the upcoming year ahead. But we do have a big off season ahead of us just to try and keep this team as much together as possible and also add some more prospects in so we can replenish those guys that we might eventually lose with some younger talent. But anyways, before we get into this offseason, I do have a number of comments to go over. So the first one is from HockeyGuy88. He says, tough loss. That said, I would take DeRocher. Now, he did say that comment, and then he apparently clicked off the video, so he didn't realize that there was that low lead in Darby, who I am looking at getting. So he did say afterwards that he does definitely say to take him instead. So we are probably going to be going with Darby because Darby is probably going to be a huge fit for this team. The reason I see it like that is because if we find him, he's an early second rounder, but we're going to be taking him in the first. He's a low lead sniper, and yeah, he's basically NHL ready out of the draft, which is awesome. So he'd probably ideally fit on like the third line type of like situation with a guy like Claxon, because Claxon is a good playmaker. And if we put Darby next to him, then we'll have two really good young players on a third line that could help with the like tertiary scoring. So I think it will be a great thing to bring in somebody like Ted Darby. So he's more than likely going to be our pick in the first round. And then I don't know about the later rounds. The later rounds might be crapshoots, but hopefully we could still pick up some good pieces nonetheless. Next comment is from Rebecca Weiss Woods, which says, great season, not bad for being the first time in the playoffs and you got to game 6 of the finals. Check what Bickle wants for a few years to see if it drops. If not, then it looks like he'll be signed to 1-year contracts. So yeah, when we get to the re-sign stage, we probably will have to give Bickle like 1-year deals from here on out. The guy is a pending UFA in a sense because he is a pending RFA right now, but once we give him a 1-year deal, he will be a pending UFA, which is kind of scary, but we got to keep on giving this guy 1-year deals because he just kind of demands a bit too much money. Because if we go to like 8 years, the guy looks right now at least wants $20 million, which is not happening. Even $12 million, I'd say, is a little bit too much for him. So hopefully we could get him back on a 1-year deal at like a decent cost. Obviously, we are going to have to probably qualify him and see if he drops his asking price, but hopefully no teams qualify him because that's going to put us into a bad situation because the cap space this offseason might be a bit tough. Guys like Holy Minded and stuff like that also will probably be qualified just so they drop their asking prices hopefully a little bit, and then we can give them like contracts for that type of range. And then the last and final comment is from Saturn Taco. He says, getting series sharpshooters vibes with the results here. Hopefully this team won't ultimately suffer the same fate, which means hopefully since that was our first finals appearance, hopefully we actually can make it back to the finals, because with the sharpshooters, I made the finals. I don't remember what year it was in, but we lost and we never made it back again. But hopefully this team could somehow win a Stanley Cup within the next few years, just because of the fact we're already in 2030-31, which means we probably have like 13 seasons left of this, which is not really a whole lot. Like, this series honestly might be done by the time March or April hits, maybe even earlier. I guess it just depends on how far we get into the playoffs and that type of thing. So Anyways, let's get into this offseason, take that Darby guy in the draft, and give ourselves some more depth scoring. And then hopefully we can find ourselves some good prospects in later rounds and keep this team as much together as possible for next season. And then I might pre-record next episode, to be honest, just because I am curious on how this team will do next year as well. So we'll see what happens with that. But we are obviously going to be drafting all the way at number 32, I think. Yeah, number 32. So we will definitely be taking Darby at that spot, unless for some reason AI team takes him ahead of time, which hopefully is not the case, because we definitely really need Darby. Okay, so the first overall pick, the Montreal Canadiens. Who are they going to select? They're going to select Raymond, who is a franchise power forward. So there you go, William Raymond. Yeah, pretty good looking player. Really good shooting categories. Yeah, he's going to be the prototypical power forward. He's got like the hitting and stuff like that as well. He's got the size. He's apparently got the great skating as well, which is pretty good. So that's definitely going to be tough to play the Habs when you play against a guy like that. Carolina at number 2 is going to take McEachern, who's an 83 playmaker. Damn, this is a pretty good overall draft for the top 5 right now, or top 3 at least. Because McEachern would be probably a first overall pick if there wasn't a franchise player. Yeah, that's a really solid snag there for the Canes at number 2. Minnesota at number 3 is going to take 81 overall Bolt, Dante Bolt. You could say like the brother of Usain Bolt or something. I don't know. Got good shutdown. Yeah, this guy's a really solid defensive player. Yeah, this guy's going to be probably like future Selke winner, my guess. Like he's got the shutdown ability. He's got some good face-off stats. He's got good back skating. He's good at doing some stick lifts and blocking shots. And he's also good at passing the puck, apparently. So it should be interesting to see how good defensively this guy becomes for Minnesota. Detroit at number 4 is going to take Vignetti. Wow, an 84 overall power forward at number 4. That is unreal. Jeez. Yeah, this is a really good first round so far. Like, I don't know how good the low lead is that we're going to be taking, but it says he's NHL ready, so I'm figuring like 78, maybe it's a little bit lower than that. But either way, this top 5 is really good. Like, I kind of wish in a sense that we had a bad year, but I mean, making it to the Stanley Cup Finals, obviously I would trade the Stanley Cup. I would have the Stanley Cup either over having like a first overall pick or something like that this year, but wow, what a draft so far. It's probably going to drop off drastically after the first round, though. Yeah, Philadelphia gets 80 overall generous at number 5. Who's definitely the worst of the top 5 players, but still 80 plus on all of them is pretty damn good. 383 pluses as well is really solid. I'm surprised Minnesota didn't go with Vignetti on this, but I guess they wanted somebody more defensively minded than a power forward. So there's your top 5. Let's simulate up to our pick at 32 and take ourselves Mr. Darby. The draft already dropped off in quality a lot. Look at all these top 9s and top 6 defenders going. So the top 5 was good, and then afterwards it just became one of the worst drafts in a while. So it dropped off at like number 18, because at number 18 you have still top 6 forwards and top 4 defensemen going. But like after that, it just dropped off drastically. Just in case you guys wanted to take back a look at the entire first round, considering it's pretty interesting. Let's see. So let's go over. Obviously, there's also some other good players in this draft, but obviously the low lead sniper that's NHL ready, you got to go with something like that. So here is Darby. A+ shooting already, apparently, so that's going to be crazy. A- puck skills and senses. And in his skating, physical, and defensive plays aren't the best right now, so he's probably, I'm saying in like the 75 to 78 range. Regardless, he's going to be probably playing in our NHL lineup as early as next season, which is awesome. So, or he could play in the AHL if he was lower than that, but I think he's going to be in the NHL right away. So Ted Darby, welcome to Anchorage, and hopefully he could be pretty good for us. He's a 76 overall low lead sniper with some X factors. Good. I wasn't sure if he was going to have X factors or not. So he had snipe, which is good. So he's good at shooting, obviously. Make it snappy, so more good shooting stuff. Magnetic, so good at pass reception. And beauty backhand, so he's good at the backhand, which is kind of interesting. There's a look at his categories. 88 shooting across the board. That is exactly what we could use. Some good depth scoring. His offensive awareness isn't really up there yet, but it will get up there probably at some point. But regardless, Really happy with that. And like I said, he's going to be like the perfect player to put next to probably somebody like Claxton, because Claxton signed here for like 8 years and he's making like minuscule money. And Claxton should be able to set him up quite nicely with his passing and all that. Let's simulate to our next pick, but I might auto-sim a lot of the rest of this draft just because this draft class ain't looking too great. I might honestly just take this guy since he's a gem. He's 4 years out, though. Did I pin anybody else in this draft? I don't think so, right? Oh, there's Wong, but he's not till, like, late. So maybe we do want to keep drafting up to the Wong there at least. Or we'll take Wong early. Yeah, we'll end up probably taking Wong early. But let's take Savonin here since he's a gem. 62 overall, low top 4. Maybe he becomes something, maybe he doesn't. Regardless, there is another pick for our future, hopefully. Some of these guys honestly might make the AHL. Low top 9s aren't really that intriguing to me. I might just take the low lead already at this stage, but there is a medium top 9, so maybe I'll go with him. Lee Acton. Lee Acton or Reacton? Let's go with Lee Acton, why not? And then the next pick we'll take that low lead, and then we'll probably auto-sim the rest. Just because I don't really see anything else that's like really intriguing about this draft class. Like, it really dropped off after that top 18, pretty much, other than our own pick that we found. So let's take that low lead in Larry Wong pretty early on. And he's a 55 overall low lead two-way forward, so maybe he becomes something, maybe he doesn't. Regardless, he probably will make the AHL, I think, at some point. And we'll auto-sim the rest of this draft class just because I honestly have no faith in the rest of the draft class. So the AI takes us Corlew, Downey, and Bufflin, but pretty good draft for us to get Darby in. Everybody else is pretty much a crapshoot at this stage, but you never really know. Some of these guys could just randomly pan out, so very excited though to see what Darby does next season. Like I said, I'll probably will pre-record next episode just because I am really curious on how Darby's going to do alongside somebody like Claxton. So let's get to this re-sign stage and keep as much of this team together as possible. Our assistant coach is up for renewal. He's not the best assistant coach, so I think I will let go of that assistant coach. I might find ourselves a new assistant coach. And do we got to re-sign these scouts? Are they good scouts? Yes they are, okay. Because we got to keep our scouting pool as good as possible in this franchise mode. Just because if we want to win a Stanley Cup, we won't need a good scouting group. There we go. Those are all good, at least since they're all like B+ at least, or B- at least. Okay, so this re-sign stage is going to be tough. We definitely need to keep this team together as much as possible. We only have $21 million in cap space. So all these guys here are getting qualified because those guys are all going to be definitely roster players next season. Bickle, we probably will have to qualify as well because he's probably going to want too much otherwise. Or I'm going to have to just give him a one-year deal right out. But yeah, this cap situation is kind of tight. And I don't like it in a sense because I feel like we might have somebody have to hold out like the entire season as an RFA. Well, yeah, we'll qualify Taze and Houston in as well. Yeah, let's go to UFAs here. We might have to let go of a lot of these UFAs as well. Yeah, we're gonna let go of a couple of these guys already. So, let's sign how much of these guys? We'll sign Vandenbush since he's a 69 already. Why not? We'll sign Svoboda, 68's not bad. We'll sign Bomeister just to give him a chance. And these guys I'm going to let go of because they're not going to pan out, I don't think. I am going to let go of... I don't know if I want to let go of Cronwall yet. He probably wants a one-way deal. I might have to wait till the start of the season to bring these type of guys back. Because we can bring back former players in free agency if they're still there at the start of the next season. So I am going to write down a list of player names that we could potentially bring back just in case I see them at the start of the year in the free agent chart. So let me write down these on a piece of paper because we are going to let go of Cronwall, Nikitin, and Grattan, I think, but we might end up bringing them back if they are still there in free agency. But for right now, I have to let them go just because of the fact that they want one-way deals, and I don't really have the cap space to give them like over $1 million right now. Like if they want $800,000 at the start of the season, then I could easily give them to that, especially if it's a two-way deal. So we'll write down Nicholas Cronwall on defense. He's a right D just as well. I'll write that down so that I can find them easier. We also write down Nikitin, who was one of our first ever picks. He's also going to be gone. Kirill Nikitin, and we are also going to let go of Grattan for now as well, just to make sure that we could afford everybody that is more important. So let's go rid of those 3 guys. And we'll go to goalies. And yeah, Carlson's probably one of these other goalies that is going to be let go of, because in the system, yeah, we have too much goaltenders otherwise. So yeah, Carlson is gone, I'd say, as well. So let me write down him as well, just in case we need to bring him back. But I don't think we're going to need to anyways, because we got a lot of goalies. Unfortunately, his time is done here as well. Some of those guys might sign elsewhere, but that's okay. Let's advance today, and then we'll see about Bickle. Let's see. Okay, so those UFAs are dealt with, and then it's now down to all the RFAs in Bickle. We got $20 million in cap space, 8 years at 12.5. That would put us in a really bad cap situation, I feel like, even if we did the 85% trick. Because 12.5 on the 85% trick, let me try and figure this out here. If the 85% trick even still works. Because it's more of a thing that doesn't work in the off-season, I'm pretty sure. I want to go to 0.85 thing. Thank you. Calculator is being a bit finicky. I could get him probably down to 10.625, but I don't know if that's too much still. Because like I feel like with all the defenders that we have in terms of prospects, a lot of them are going to be demanding a lot of money soon. So this is going to take up a big chunk of our cap space if we give him long-term deals. So I think I am going to just give him a 1-year deal and try the 85% trick for 1 year. And yes, he is a pending UFA at the end of this next upcoming season. But we have guys in the system that could maybe replace him at some point. So we'll probably continue to just give him 1-year deals if we could afford them. I just don't want to give ourselves to like a really bad cap situation. Like it's already pretty tight, and it will be even more tighter by locking up Bickle for 8 years. So we want to be as careful as possible. We did lock up a lot of guys already in terms of this team. So let's give him a 1-year deal at $10.1 million, and we'll see if he accepts that. And then we should have enough cap space technically to get everybody else back, unless Kolemainen decides that he wants like $13 million for some reason. So 10.1 for 1 year. That should be good. Hopefully he accepts that. If not, we might have to add a tiny little bit more to it, but that's pretty much the biggest one we have to get back this off season. So hopefully this team can stay as much as good together as possible. He wants to test the free agent market. More money might persuade him. After going to the Stanley Cup Finals, you think he'd be okay with it. Let's go up to 10.5. I definitely want to get him back, but he apparently wants to test the free agent market. 10.5, Bickle. We have a couple days to negotiate with you. Hopefully he accepts, please. He rejected again. He's going to eat up a lot of our cap space for this 1 year, which is unfortunate. Let's do 1 year at $11 million. This is probably the most I can almost offer him. Maybe I'd be able to offer him a little bit more than that, actually. He's still rejecting. Come on, man. Or else I'm going to have to probably qualify you. Let's do 1 year at... Let's just give him 1 year at exactly what he's asking for. And then we'll only have $9 million to sign the rest of these guys, which is a bit little, but that's okay. Hey, there we go. Or not, no, it's Pierce Hall that's accepting. Bickle has accepted as well. Okay, good. Okay, so we gave him exactly what he wanted. Now, the only thing that's kind of risky is now 8.75. We should be able to afford everybody because Kolemainen is the most expensive. The rest of these guys should be relatively cheap. I could already sign Farrell long term, but it's kind of, yeah, I don't think I could do that right now, actually. Yeah, the rest of these guys are probably not going to be making as much, so we should be able to get everybody back with that 8.75, but we might not be able to sign any former players if they are available in free agency. But Bickle is an important person to get back for this upcoming season, at least. I feel like he's gone probably after the season, though, just because of the fact he's asking for a lot of money and he wants to test free agency, so we'll see what happens with that scenario. But let's advance to the next season already. And we'll see. Actually, wait, was it gonna? Yeah, we're gonna sim up to next season already. And we'll see if everybody comes back on the deal, and hopefully we could afford everybody. Come on, boys. Please all accept, especially Kolemainen. He's a big one. Let me stop the simulation here since we're already in August almost. Let's go to the contracts. 7.225. These are the 3 ones holding out, which is not a surprise. Okay, yeah, we'll do 1 year at 4.25 for goalie mining. He still has his RFA rights for like 4 years, so yeah, we'll just give him that. That's a good price for now. And we'll give these guys exactly what they're asking for 1 year as well, because that's not bad, and that should eat up the rest of our cap space. Actually, did I not go to the unsigned guys yet? I didn't go to the unsigned guys because I wanted to sign Darby up to his ELC. We'll do that as well while we're at it. Ooh, wow, Danner's up to a 69 at 19. He's not AHL eligible yet, but this guy is looking pretty good. I'm already going to give this guy his ELC, but he's not going to be able to play in the AHL this upcoming season. But there we go. There's some contracts handed out to some young guys that definitely deserve it. Let's continue to sim up the next season. And yeah, hopefully our lines are looking pretty good for the upcoming year. I am very excited to see what it looks like with the third line being now with Claxton, and also Darby being on that line is more than likely going to be the thing that we end up doing. And hopefully that gives us a bit more goal scoring on the top 9 and all that stuff. Okay, let's go best lines here for a second. And let me call up already. Let's see, is Darby sent down to the minors? He is not. So he must be already in our NHL lineup. That's a good thing. Let's rework this around a little bit. Is he in our lineup already? Yeah, he is. Okay. Okay, so Avery Parrott obviously is on the top line. And then we have Keith and Jorgensen. Then we have Bickle on the left side with Zikov. And we could try Hartnell there maybe. There's so much goal scoring on the top 6. Actually, we'll do Jorgensen to the second line. Bickle to the top line, maybe. Yeah, Jorgensen might be a better fit for that line. I'll definitely do Darby on the left side since he's a right-handed shot. We'll do Festerini up here as well. And then we'll do Cassian's jumping into the lineup. That's interesting. Yeah, I actually really like this lineup. It looks actually really good. For some reason, Cassian has a quick draw, but his face-offs are a 67 overall, so that's a little bit weird. But yeah, that forward core looks actually really good. As Darby might get a lot of growth, and you have somebody like Claxton who's got 90 passing, and you got Darby who's got all that shooting. So that line might be really good. Might be really good. And offensively, wow. Yeah, our team is looking really good. I feel like this team looks better than the sharpshooters did at this stage already, which is interesting. It was something like that. Who scratched? Cox and Strachan. I don't know about Strachan being scratched, but it might have to happen. Let's see, Strachan. I don't like scratching Kalinin, though. He's good defensively. We might have to alternate between the two of them. So for now, I think we'll run with Kalinin, and we'll see how that works out. Cox as a scratch. Yeah, Cox is probably not going to be here much longer, to be honest. I could take Hull out of the lineup, to be honest. Hull's not much better. 24, 74. Cox is 25 and 78. Yeah, let's take Hull maybe out of the lineup for Cox. Yeah, that works a little bit better. We'll leave these guys as scratches, which is not a great thing, but I don't want to send them to the minors. Because I need younger guys to be playing in the lineup. And best lines in the AHL, anybody who shouldn't be scratched. These guys are probably not going to pan out. But Taze is up to a 78 and listed as a backup, which is interesting. So some good goalies in the AHL. Yeah, everything's starting to come together quite nicely for this team. I mean, our prospect pool obviously is starting to get a little bit barren, but this forward core looks really good. Obviously, the fourth line's not the strongest yet, but yeah, I'm very excited because Hartnell is definitely going to have probably a better season than he had in his rookie year. And then you have somebody like Darby who's getting a chance to play with Claxton. That's going to be very enticing as well. So, Keith not on the top power play unit. I don't really like that. I feel like Keith needs to play on the first power play unit after how he did last season. So let's take Claxton off for a second off there. Put Keith on there. And then we'll take Keith off the second one and put Claxton in there. And is Darby getting power play time? He's not. That's okay, I guess, for now. You don't want to rush him too much into the NHL, so. But yeah, our team looks really good. I think we're definitely a playoff team in this upcoming season, I think. The question is, how long are we a playoff team for? Are we going to be able to get back to the Stanley Cup Finals again? I don't know. It's going to be very enticing to see what happens with this team this season. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Anchorage Ice Tigers Draft to Glory franchise mode. So in the next episode, we will simulate the entire season. We'll see if this team can make it back to the playoffs, which more than likely they should. And we'll see if this team can make it past winning 2 games in the Stanley Cup Finals and maybe win 3 or 4 games in the Cup Finals if we could even get there this coming season. So I'm going to think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.